Alright guys, so I am at Loic's place. This is the Lii Song, right? Loic? Yeah. Speaker that Loic has been telling me for the last few days. He's really excited about it. He's been talking about it non-stop. I haven't listened to it yet. And what I did, I brought over the Luxman SQ150 here. Okay? Because my first impression, I don't want to listen to it with the Galion. I want to listen to it with something that is more mainstream, more normal, right? Now, I have speakers before that uses big cabinets, like the exemplar single driver speaker and the bass, man. Even 1 watt, I get very, very deep bass. So I am expecting to get deep bass with these speakers. Would I be disappointed? Well, let's find out. All right, let's do it. So I am going to spare you the torture of listening to me and Loic just blabbing for 40 minutes. We were all over the place. Instead, let me summarize for you our conversation. Keep in mind, my observations of Lii Song speakers are based on one afternoon of listening only. So take it with a grain of salt. Now, before we begin, I will be at the October 2022 Toronto Audio Show, and I'll put the info in the comment section. For those of you dying to listen to the Galion TS120, this is your chance. So, Loic got his hand on 2 speakers from Lii Song. 3000-ish Origin S10. Man, what an original name, right? Origin S10. Then we have the 5000-ish Lii Lionidas open baffle speaker. Now, both speakers use the same single drivers. However, the Liionidas have an extra 15-inch. For that one, it has a crossover. So let's start with the Origin S10. This is a beautiful single driver speaker with a cabinet the size of a small fridge. Now, the reason I wanted to listen to it first with the Luxman SQ150N, well, it's because, well, first it uses EL84, and I used to have this 110-pound exemplar speaker. That was a single driver speaker, and that was the size of a medium fridge. That speaker was $9,000 USD, and it had bass that can go basement deep. The Lii Song also has a big cabinet, so I was expecting basement deep bass too. Sure, the Origin S10 is less than half the price of the exemplar speaker, but given how much Loic has hyped them up before I dropped by, I was expecting a lot. From my experience of owning a few single driver speakers, whenever I listen to one, my mind always needs to switch to a different mode. Okay, this is a single driver speaker, so most likely it will be what I call an A curve, mid-range focus. As expected, the Origin S10 sounded similar to the exemplar speaker. With the Luxman SQ150N, I got a very linear presentation. You see, EL84 tubes are not fat sounding. For me, it's on the lean side. Sure, the mids do have body, but it's not fat like 300B. The original S10 with the Luxman has that very forward presentation. Forward mid-range. The singer is so close that it feels like he or she can give you a lap dance. Sure, many of you will say, Thomas, I want Diana Krall to give me a lap dance. Well, be careful what you wish for, because this kind of presentation has its charm, but it's not for everyone. Those who like forward presentation will like it. The voice really grabs you. You know that saying, I can feel the singer in the room? Single driver speakers bring it up the next level. Of course, single driver speakers have their own challenges, like, they can be slightly shouty, they do not sparkle as much, they can be thin sounding, and so forth. Now, I see the Origin S10 has tackled some of these problems. For example, the top end sparkles, no problem. The bass can go basement deep, and with a smooth sounding tube amp, yeah, it tones down significantly the shoutiness that is inherent in single driver speakers. Now, what I wish it had more, now this is specific to the Luxman 150N, I wish it had a bit more upper bass. Now, lower bass has no problem, okay? For my taste, I would pair it with a tube amp with an upper bass bump. Now, if I have to summarize in one word, it will be intimate, okay? The speaker. You and the singer will have this intimate experience. Now, these speakers will be on display at the Toronto Audio Show, so come check them out. When you show up to the room, if you see these Origin S10 speakers playing instead of the Liionidas, remember to change your mindset and expectations. Lap dance, lap dance. Thomas promised me a lap dance. And focus on the vocals, okay? The Origin S10 does really well with jazz, vocal, small band performance. Do not request any like orchestral track with the Origin S10. It is out of its comfort zone. For that, you go for the Liionidas. Now, before I talk about the Liionidas, let me tell you a story, okay? A while ago, I made a video on the Pro Acoustic Sibelius, which is also a single driver speaker. Now, after making that video, Russ, an audio buddy of mine, who is a big fan of single driver speakers, dropped by because he was really curious. Guess what? He bought the exemplar speakers off me instead. Why? Because he liked that forward, in-your-face, intimate presentation since he's a big fan of single driver speakers. Do you want to take a guess what speakers he owns? Omega RS8, which is a single driver speaker. Zoo 30 Weekend, which is a single driver speaker. Klipsch Heresy 3, which has that really forward presentation. All of you who are wondering if you should buy the Sibelius or the Origin S10, completely two different kind of sound and different target audience. As I said, Sibelius does not sound like a typical single driver speaker, while the Origin S10 does. Now, I'm sure Russ will love the Origin S10. Put in the comments what you think of single driver speakers. Are you curious? Have you owned them, love them, hate them? Let me know. If you want to compare the Lii Song speaker against the Sibelius speaker, the Liionidas, unlike the Origin S10, can be compared. Because interestingly, the Liionidas does not sound like a typical single driver speaker. I'm not sure Russ would love these, but Loic and I, man, we were blown away. The Liionidas can handle all kinds of music. For those coming to the October Toronto 2022 audio show, when you walk in the Lii Song room and see the Origin S10 playing, remember, just think, Thomas promised me a lap dance. Wait, they're not going to use the Luxman with EL84 tubes, so it will not be as forward. Okay, maybe half a lap dance. Worst case, I'll ask Loic to give you one. Okay? Now, if you see the Liionidas playing, then tell yourself, Thomas promised me an IMAX experience. Man, that Liionidas can shake the room. I mean, oh my gosh, Focal Sopra 2 level shock factor. The bass might not be as heavy as the Sopra 2. After all, it does not have a cabinet, but that wow factor easily can compete. Not like a one-note subwoofer type of bass, clean, fast, articulate, and impactful. Orchestra music, no problem. Vocal, no problem. Jazz, fantastic. Cello double bass, excellent. The open baffle bass magic, you have it in space. Seriously, if you ever listen to open baffle, there's really something special about it. I'm guessing you probably need a good room though. For those who have experience with open baffle, please leave a comment and let me know what is the most important thing you need when playing with open baffle speakers. Now, keep in mind, this is just me listening to them for like an afternoon. I cannot 100% assess it, but in the short time I spent with it, I was over the moon for them. I'm sure I can find flaws if I audition them at my home. Perhaps in the future, Lii Song will send me a pair for review. Also, for those who want a serious comparison to the Sibelius, yeah, I need to spend quality time with the Liionidas to really point out the differences. Now, I will finish the video with a short video clip with Loic. I've cut out a lot of stuff and we just share with you our reaction to the Liionidas. Alright guys, till next time. See you at the audio show. No wonder Loic can afford to buy all these speakers. Look what he eats every day, man. Take a look at this. He has to eat a lot of these to afford the Galion. Yummy, yummy.
Or these. Oh, yeah, that's okay. My God, these are amazing.
These ones are like, holy cow. It's like OMG, man. So tell me what impressed you with them. Besides shaking the foundation and me going like, I think there's something they're shaking just now when we're playing them.
Yeah, so can I start with what I didn't like? What I didn't like about these speakers is they made me realize how poor of a craftsmanship I've done in this room. There's so many things that can still rattle. Now I got to go and tighten all of them. Because the power that comes out of these bass drivers is significant. Someone online mentioned, hey, make sure you put the wings, man, on the...
No need.
Not in this room. My goodness.
Either that or because the Galion can really push the bass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so we didn't try the Luxman with these, FYI. We plugged in the Galion TS120 on these. We started with the regular version, and we were so excited that Tom was like, "Okay, I want to hear the refinement. I want to hear the special edition." Are we allowed to talk about the special edition yet, or no?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah.
So we plugged in the special edition. All the things that we felt were missing from the tracks that we tested with the Origin S10 before, that were simply outside of the Origin's comfort zone. It's like these guys' comfort zone is
you can play everything, man. Everything, man. Orchestra, my famous Wonder Woman test track, it destroys it. Vocal, fantastic. Seriously, man, you will be impressed with these speakers. I mean, but you need the power to drive it.
Yeah, I think so too. As they kind of take a little bit, they take a different route than the single driver, right? Because there is a crossover in this. They're separating the frequencies between the full range driver that's at the top, so that the full range driver is not getting overwhelmed by the low frequencies.
Yeah,
and it lets the big boy down there handle. By the big boy, I mean the woofer. I'm not pointing at Thomas. I'm pointing at the big 15-inch drivers that are at the bottom.
Yeah.
Lii Song calls them their bass compensation drivers for open baffle.
I mean,
they compensate.
I mean, it's the level of Focaso Pro 2. I mean, that level, it's like rattling the place, and it's very textured. So, I mean, it is impressive. You hear it at an audio show, your jaw will drop with these. Okay.
Did you say it's a level of Sopra 2?
Yeah, it is.
That was like a punch in the mouth, man.
Why?
I don't know, because it was fun.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, your melody, how many watts was it again?
I think it's 16 or 18.
18 watts?
Something like that. So this is where this thing changes. So the Origin S10, you can use Whitewater amps.
Yeah.
That little stuff. They're 8 ohms. You stay in 8 ohms, they're fine. Now these guys, even though they use exactly the same full range driver that's in there, but because they add the big boys at the bottom and the crossover, there's a play with the impedance that's happening here. And when I use my amp, that is pure Class A 16 watt, single-ended, the bass, the impedance dips down more than a regular full range does. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. And it was actually one of my disappointments the first night when they brought him here. It struggled so much that when there was a bass heavy track, I could hear a little bit of distortion coming out of the woofers. And I was like, I can't, like it was unlistenable. So first thing I did was I emailed Steve at Deckware and I said, hey, heads up, I don't know if you've tried these with your amps. I said, my amp's kind of struggling. And he laughed. He says, don't worry about that. He says, all my amps, we can dip down to 2 ohms and they're happy, they smile, and the tubes just keep singing. So I went, okay, good.
It's too bad I don't have a Deckware to try it with, you know. They're supposed to be amazing with these speakers. The Origin speaker is not, how would I say, it's not a bass heavy speaker. It's really more of a I guess elegant speaker, probably.
Well said, right? It's elegance.
It's more about elegance, okay? So you have to keep your expectation in check. This is like, I don't know how do you describe this. This is like,
this could do everything. This could feed your party. This could feed you when you want to relax with a glass of wine and listen to jazz. This could make you relive a movie that you enjoyed at the movies by listening to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
These do it.
Yeah.
They do it.
They have the speed, they have the punch, you know, they have the refinement on enough of it that I'm like, holy cow. When I was listening to it just now, I was like, oh my gosh, man, people will be impressed.
You can go to Diana Krall and then to Dr. Dre, and you're happy in both scenarios.
And yeah, the best part is because I get to hear what the TS120 can really do.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, if it's really shaking the room and it has enough juice to keep up with, you know, like the speed, you throw anything at it and it will handle it. So, right?
I'm very happy that your Galion with these speakers did my freak of a DAC justice.
Oh, his DAC is crazy, man. He spent $3,000 on modifying his, how many $1,000 DAC?
$1,000 DAC.
$1,000 DAC with $3,000 of mod. I think that's crazy. All right, I think that's about it, right? Do we have anything to add?
I don't know. I don't know what else to add. This
Okay.
is awesome.
Okay. Guys, I've arrived at Loic's place. Let me show you his backyard, man. The guy lives at no man's land. Whoa, looks really nice, eh? He's gonna put an in-ground pool, apparently. See, this is the great thing about living in Canada. You have a lot of land, and Loic lives in no man's land, like a little town far away from Montreal. Took me an hour to get to his place. Anyway, let's go listen to the speakers.